So we're reviewing multiplication of fractions and division of fractions. First thing we have is North Carolina Championship banners, 8-9 yards wide and 5/3 of a yard long. How many square yards does the banner cover? So we're going to start out with 8/9. We need to multiply that by 5/3. We're just going to go straight across on this one. We'll do some more later with the area models, and then some with the line graphs too. 8 times 5 is 40, 9 times 3 is 27. Excuse me. And then we know that the numerator is bigger than the denominator, so we can make one whole with that. So 27 over 27 would equal one whole. And then I have 13 left over. And that's going to be square yards, since it is area. So the next one, we'll do an area model on this one. So Jack has a square that's 4/5 an inch by 4/5. So what? So it's a square. We know all sides are 4/5 of an inch. So I'm going to break that down. Five sections, and for the whole yard, and then I'm going to use 4/5 of this for the top. And then I'm going to break it down for this side into 5 sections. And I only need 4 of those. I only have 4 of those, I guess I should say. And since you're probably not going to tell if I shaded, so I'm going to use these lines instead. So then I'm going to look what overlaps the shading and the lines. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of the 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So 16 of the 25. So another way we can write that, if you didn't want to do area model, is 4/5 times 4/5. Multiply straight across and give you 16/25. So there's 2 different ways. The area model, I shaded in 4 of the 5, and then I horizontal lines on 4 of the 5 that I broke it down. And then what part has both? 16 out of all of them, 25. So this one we have, Dr. George has 6 pints of strawberries. She divides the strawberries into 1/3 pint serving. How many servings did she make? Some of the kids are so confused on this, they put 1/24 of a serving. So that is not good. So one way, that's if they just try to do it with multiplication. That's why I try to say sometimes it's better to draw a model. So if I have 6 pints, and I'm going to divide these into 1/3 pint servings. So there's my 1/3 equals 1 serving. 1/3 equals another serving. 1/3 equals another serving. So it's 3 servings per pint. So if I have 3 and 1, I should have 2 and 6. 3 of them would be 9. So all of them is 18 servings. 3 times 6 is 18. You wanted to write it, you could write it as 6 divided by 1/3, or 6 times 3. You're still going to get 18 servings. Same thing with this one. We had some of them having a fraction of a pot. That's not good, because it says how many pots, plural, can we fill? So Miss Herman is filling pots of soil to plant some flowers. She estimates that she will need 1/6 of a bag of soil for each pot. So if I drew it out, here's my one bag, and I need 1/6 per bag. One, two, three, four, five, 6 different sections of my bag. And each of these is for one pot. So let's do that. Make that. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pots in one bag. So if I had 2 bags, that'd be 12. 3 bags, it'd be 18. 4 pots would be 24. So you can do 4 divided by 1/6 on that one, and it'll give you 24, or 4 times 6, and 24. 24 bag, or pots, sorry, pots. How many pots can she fill with 4 bags of soil? A group of teachers walk 3 3/5 mile along the trail. Dr. Meshke walks 1/2 the distance with the teachers before turning off into another trail. How many miles does Dr. Meshke walk with the teachers? When we do this, we have to remember that we are multiplying. We're not multiplying by 1/2. We're dividing by 2, or some of them we're dividing by 1/2. We're not dividing by 1/2. We're dividing by 2 or multiplying by 1/2. So most people, when you think about it, 3 3/5, he walked half the way. So I'm going to divide this number by 2. Okay, divide it by 2, not divide it by 1/2. Or I can do 3 3/5 times 1/2. Okay. So first thing I need to do is change the mixed number to an improper fraction. So if I have 3 wholes, and I need to make those into fifths to combine these two. So 5/5 would be 1 whole, 10/5 would be 2 wholes, 15/5 would be 3 whole, and I take those 15 and add it to the top 3 that I have left over, so it's 18/5. Essentially what I did was 5 times 3 plus 3, so I have 18/5, and I divide that by 2, or I times it by 1/2. Same thing over here, 18/5 times it by 1/2. What thing you can do, since you're dividing it by 2, if you want to look at it this way, is take 18/5. So I'm going to divide the 18 by 2, and I'm going to get 9/5. Okay? So we'll do one over here exactly this way. I did the division part. I really didn't do this one, but I'll do it over here. 18 times 1 is 18. 10. Now I can reduce it. Divided by 2, divided by 2, and then I get my 9/5. But I'm not done with these 9/5 because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So I can have 1 whole and then 4/5 left over. So 1 4/5 miles. Mr. Ken used 4/5 yards of rope for a project, or he has that much rope. He used 1/3 of that rope. How many yards of rope did Mr. Ken use for the project? So this one, let's just draw an area model for this one as well. He had 4/5, so divide it into 5. 4 of them are going to be shaded because he had 4/5 of the yard. So I'm going to shade this lightly. And then he used 1/3. So now I'm going to break it down into thirds. He used 1/3. So he used this section right here. So what is 4? It has both the shading and the lines. Out of 5, 10, 15. So 4 out of 15. Another way I can write that is 1/3 of 4/5 are 4/5 times 1/3. And I get 4/15, and this is of a yard. Okay. Miss Vollrath is making chocolate chip cookies and uses 1/3 of a cup of chocolate chips for each batch. So all I need is 1/3 of a cup. So if I have 1 cup, this is 1 batch, 1/3. So I have 1 cup can make 3 batches. So she has 2 cups. 2 of these, I'm going to have the 3 from the first cup, and I'll have 3 for the second cup. So 2 cups is going to equal 6 batches. And then it also asks, 1 cup was 3. And then 6 cups is 6 times 3, so 18 batches. Miss Savage uses 12 cups of flour to make 7 pizzas. Which expression shows the number of cups of flour in 1 pizza? So we're trying to figure the number of cups of flour in 1 pizza. Sorry. So I'm dividing the 12 divided by the 7. 12 flours divided by the cups of flour divided by the 7 pizzas. So I can write it like this or this. And first one, so 12 divided by 7, that's what we just did. 12 cups of flour divided by the 7 pizzas to show the number of cups of flour in 1 pizza. Next, 12 times 1/7. So if I took that, essentially my answer is going to be 12/7, which is what we got. So I would say that's a yes. And 12/7, that's a yes. This is 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12, 5/12, 6/12, 7/12. And that is not the same, so that's going to be a no. 1 and 5/7. So if I have 12/7, that's the same thing as 1 whole, and I have 5 left over, so that would be a yes. Same thing, 1 and 5/7. So that would also work. The bar is measured at 9 inches long, is divided into 5 equal parts. What is the length of one of those parts? So I need the length of this right here. So I have 9 inches, and I'm going to divide that by 5. Or I can take it 9 times 1/5 and get 9/5 of an inch. 9/5 inches. I can also use fraction or mixed numbers. So I know that the numerator is bigger than the denominator, so I can take a group, make it a whole. So 1 4/5 of an inch. So this little section is 1 4/5 of an inch. So is this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay. So that equals 9 inches. The next one, this is by far the easiest question on here. If they just understand that if you multiply 1 by anything, you're going to get that number. If you multiply any number less than 1 by a number, that number is going to get smaller because you're multiplying by less than 1. And if I take any number and multiply it by a number bigger than 1, that number is going to get bigger. So I can do this without even multiplying these. So I know that 5 over 5 is 1, so I know that 3/5 is not going to change. 1 times 3/5 is 3/5. 7/4, the numerator is bigger than the denominator, so I know this number is greater than 1. If I take anything times it by a number greater than 1, the answer is going to be greater than that number. 4/7, that is smaller than 1. The numerator is smaller than the denominator, so it is less than 1. So if I take any number, multiply it by 3/5, that is less than 1, I'm going to get less than 3/5. 8 over 8 is equal to 1. So it's going to be 1 times 3/5 will give me 3/5. 9 over 10 is less than 1. Just a little bit, but it's less than 1. So I know my answer is going to be less than 3/5. So all we have to do is look, if we're comparing it to 3/5, this number right here, if the numerator and denominator is the same, it's equal to 1. 1 times 3/5 is going to give you 3/5. The numerator is smaller than the denominator. It's going to be less than 1, so the answer is going to be less than 3/5. If the numerator is bigger than the denominator, it's going to be greater than 1, so your answer is going to be greater than 3/5. Keep practicing. And like my video, subscribe to get automatic updates for the rest of the year. And good luck, 5th grade.